how's it going? This is another Thrive Morning Thursday, although if you've noticed, and it really depends on where you are in the world, it is not the morning. So it is actually the afternoon on a Thursday, and I'm coming to you for another Thrive Morning Thursday Facebook Live. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jennifer Cottis, and I am a business coach to emerging entrepreneurial women, helping them create a simple business and a life they love. I have a group coaching membership called Emergent, and I also do private one-on-one business coaching. And you can also catch my latest training, How to Thrive on a 10-Hour Business Week, okay? So I'll put all of those links in the comments or description, but that's how you can connect with me. So I want to jump into today's topic because I think it's a super, super exciting one. Maybe not that exciting, but it seems to be a recurring theme lately. And it's, I'm calling this live the most common mistake we make. And this one will stop your business in its tracks. So, okay, so let me start by telling you just a couple of the recurring things that have been happening this week. So I reconnected with my mentor. I have an ongoing mentor, and if you don't have a mentor, you should have a mentor because they keep you on track in your business, and just for the inspiration to keep you accountable to, I want to say the most important thing is to really keep you on track for your business growth and acceleration and that longer term vision. So I reconnected with him, and that was really fantastic. And then I've had my own coaching clients that have come to me and said, well, you know what, I'm feeling like overwhelmed and crazy, and I just want to switch everything up, and maybe this isn't working, and we want to do all these other things, right? And I get it. It's an urge. It is an urge in both scenarios, when you don't feel like your business is working and when you do feel your business is working, to switch things up. So the most common mistake we make is exactly that. We tend to switch things up. We think we need to pivot. We think we need to go out and create a whole bunch of like course content, right? Or just, or more blogs or whatever it is. And it's usually at the point in time when we either have been consistent for a little bit and we're still hearing crickets maybe, or we're at this point where, oh, things are working. How can I really step this up? And how can I really just take this to the next level? And so what I want to say to you today is if you're in one of those positions where you're just starting out and you feel like you're hearing crickets, you're not really getting the responses that you want, but you're showing up and you're getting some kind of engagement, whatnot, but maybe you don't have a lot of paying clients or whatever that case may be. Or you are in another position where like, oh, I'm getting the attention, I'm getting tons of engagement. I'm starting to, people are starting to invest in my services and things are going really great, but what more can I do, right? And so the instinct is, if you're in situation number one is, well, maybe I need to pivot my niche. Maybe I'm not in front of them enough. Maybe I need to pivot my offer. Maybe I need to really like hone in on, I don't know, creating a new course or something along that lines, right? So that is situation number, because, just having that doubt in terms of what it is that you're offering in the first place. The second scenario is like, oh, well, maybe I can give people more and more and more, or, this topic really took off. Why don't I just create a course around that? Or maybe I can be in 20 groups instead of 5 groups, right? Like, to meet the people to get in front of your niche, or do like 5 Facebook Lives instead of like 1 Facebook Live a week, whatever that is, okay? Whatever that might look like. Or maybe I need to just launch this week and go crazy that way, right? So here's what happens. This is why it's the most common mistake. The most common mistake, again, is the switch up. I'll call it the switch up just to give it a generic name, but suddenly you're being consistent, you're showing up, you're stepping into your business. You are repeating what it is that you do and how you help people to your audience, and you're clear about that, and you're moving forward, and that's really great. But the switch up is where we start to panic. We think we need to pitch more, pitch harder, right? Offer more, maybe, right? Sometimes these scenarios work, but it's that what happens is it's that complete turnaround. It's that suddenly you're moving from, I'm going to do one-on-one coaching or that one-on-one service or DIY or whatever is that, or done for you kind of service or whatever. And then you're suddenly going to switch to like, oh, I'm going to create a course now, or I'm going to go and do a new webinar, or I'm going to pitch this, this other product over here, or I'm going to start making menu plans, or whatever it is that you have all these great ideas. And that's amazing that you have all these great ideas. But this is what also can literally stop your business in its tracks. Because what happens is we get distracted from the foundation and the consistency and the simplicity that we've already built in our business. That, my friends, is what's going to get you further, faster, is that simplicity, that consistency, and the repeatable things that you're learning that works in your business, right? And so when we go off and we say, okay, well, we're going to add on another layer, we're going to add on another product, we're going to add on another course, I need to reach out to more and different niche audiences or whatever, right? Like, and I'm not saying that over time you can't add that in on your business, right? But what tends to happen is that we forget all these other things. We forget about the foundation that we already have. And so those consistent things that you had in place, the foundational income producing activities that work, the tagline that you've used, maybe the offering that you already have in place that people are starting to engage with, it goes out the window because you kind of forget about it, right? And then on top of that, what happens is that you get overwhelmed, you get just crazy pants and you get to that place. And tell me if this resonates with you. So if you're joining me live or if you're joining me on the replay, let me know in the comments if this resonates with you. But I had all these notes here, I'm not even following them, but this is what I see, is that you get overwhelmed. So it's like you end up binge working, and then you crash. You binge work and then you crash, as opposed to having that grace and that confidence to stay the course and stay consistent and do what you're doing. Because the likelihood is that, not even the likelihood, I will always say that the consistent person, if you show up consistently, you're always going to outperform the binge worker and crasher. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm just going to look at my little notes here and see if I kind of missed any key messages. But so the switch up, what the switch up might look like is you pivot your niche, okay? And you pivot it, instead of naturally evolving in terms of your message and attracting that audience, but you might pivot it a little bit too hard. So what happens is you spent like a month or 2 or 3 or whatever communicating to this one particular niche, and then suddenly you're like, oh, I don't think that niche is working for me anymore, and then you make the switch up. You're going to be better off staying that course with that particular niche. And what you can do is, if you don't feel like you're attracting the right audience, just craft your message a little bit differently. Tell your story a little bit differently. People will be attracted to your offering and all that as well, and you're going to draw in the right people as it was meant to be. Okay, you become a pitch monster. Suddenly you're like pitching course ideas left and right to see what sticks. Meanwhile, you have a consistent messaging. You're consistently communicating with your niche, whether it's like Facebook Lives or blogs or value posts or your podcast or whatever, to get that attention. And then again, what happens is, like, you go in to do a launch or a 10-day email sequence or something along that lines that is different than what it is that you're already offering, and then it distracts the people, it distracts your followers, so they get confused. And it's almost like you're pushing that reset button every single time you do that, and you're starting your business from the beginning. And that might be an exaggeration, but maybe it's not an exaggeration, right? So keep that in mind. And then, yeah, the course creators, same thing. You start creating all these different kinds of courses or products, the trip magnet, or the tripwire, rather, a new lead magnet, all these kinds of things that you spend all this time focused on trying to get that quick hit by switching up a topic really quickly, that all that foundational work that you've done, again, you're starting from scratch every time you create that new course or create that new freebie or create that new thing. If it's an evolution and a building upon, then it might make more sense and you won't lose your followers along the way. But just to think about that, to think about this common mistake that I see you making. So next time you get the urge to say, oh, I don't know that I want to do one-on-one coaching or personal training or health coaching or life coaching or whatever it is that you do, and I just want to go into like a group thing because I think that might be better or whatever, right? Just think long and hard about whether that really is the case or whether you think you might swing back to that original offer, okay? And recognize that it might be, it might feel like you're actually starting fresh again with your whole niche and your whole audience, okay? So I'm saying okay a little bit too much. I don't like that. So anyways, so that I just want you to consider that when you're doing the big switch up and how it can actually impact your business and actually stop it in its tracks. Now, say you have this really strong layer of foundation, so you've got a simple process in place. You know what you're getting up and doing every day. You're set on what income producing activities really work for you. You've got a referral system in place. You have all these pieces in place and that's working really well. Then yes, go ahead, add on that other layer because you know that this is working well. But what you don't want to happen is to forget about that layer that is going to work really well. Okay? Excellent. Yeah. So steps. This is a bit of, so steps. So one, you want to make a decision in terms of who you are helping and how you are helping them. Put in place a simple process to build your business. Repeat that simple process to build your business week after week, week after week. That's really important as well. And the idea is to show up consistently for you in your business every day and in front of your audience every day. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's how to avoid this big mistake that's literally going to stop your business in your tracks and to keep you from switching up. So if you like this live and if this resonated with you and if this style of my philosophies resonate really well with you, then I offer private one-on-one coaching. So if you are interested in just a relaxed conversation, feel free to just send me a message and we'll get that dialogue going about the possibilities of working together. From there, we do a complimentary session. And then so that you can have a full experience of how I coach with you and what that might feel like session after session. And I also have a group coaching membership as well, so you can contact me and connect with me about that, okay? So thank you for being with me here on this little Thrive morning, not really in the morning, Thursday, and we'll see you at the next live. Have an amazing day. Bye now.